What is happening, guys? Welcome back. So, yet again, another little video on the Lupo track inspired build that we are doing. Now, this video is a video that I didn't expect to be having to make, or the work that we're going to be doing having to be doing. Unfortunately, we were doing a bit of a looking and digging around the engine the other day, and when it was cold, there was a bit of smoke on startup, so we decided to compression test it, and cylinder 2 is low compression. I think we're supposed to have about 150 on each cylinder, and cylinder 2 is at about, I think it was at 90, and then we managed to get it up to 100. So the engine is a little bit poorly. These are known, I think, for blowing past the valve seals, and they're also known for doing the rings if the wrong oil is used. 14 owners, I'm not surprised if the wrong oil has been used. So in this one, we're going to be getting the engine out, and I've bought a new engine that I'm picking up in the morning. But yeah, this video is going to be getting the engine out and fitting a new engine. We've got a carbon intake to go in as well. It's all universal stuff. We're going to be making it from scratch because I looked for ones that are specific for the car, knowing I had any in stock. So that's what we're doing in this one. I really was hoping that we weren't going to have to do this, or I hadn't even thought about doing it. But it is what it is. Let's crack on and start getting this car front end stripped and get the engine out. There we go then, that didn't take very long at all. Engine is out, sat down there. We've got the gearbox off as well. We've just inspected the flywheel and the clutch. Clutch looks new, which it did say on one of the invoices that it had a new clutch, so that's true. Flywheel, not amazing, but we'll get away with it for at least the life of another clutch. What we're going to do now, whilst everything's out, I think we're going to chuck the wheels on it, take it outside, and then we're going to degrease and clean all the engine bay and everything up, because while it's out, we might as well, and we're waiting for stuff. I've got to go and pick the engine up tomorrow, so we might as well make use of our time, clean that up, get the gearbox all cleaned up, and then when the engine comes, depending on how clean that is, we'll get that cleaned to put it all back in, so it's all nice and clean and fresh. So yeah, chuck the wheels on, take it outside, get the pressure washer going. Right, went and picked the engine up yesterday. We've got it sat on the floor in the workshop. We've bolted the gearbox from the original, well, we've bolted the flywheel, the gearbox and the starter from the original engine up onto the new engine. And what we've done, we've got some jump leads and another bit of cable. We're going to hook the battery up to the starter motor, use that bit of cable for the exciter, if you like, to get the starter to turn. We're going to compression test this and see what we've got on each cylinder. Yes, it's cold, it should be done when it's hot to get an accurate reading, but we did this one cold, so it's going to give us a sort of comparison between the two to see what is what. So, Rich is here to give me a hand. Let's see what we've got on this.
180 psi's.
Okay, so that should be good. So that is good. The old engine, we were getting a reading on 3 cylinders of 150. Cylinder 2 was 90, and then we got it to about 100. But the new engine is 180 to 182 on all 4 cylinders, which is really, really good compression and what we wanted to see with the engine. So what we're going to do now, because this engine has been sat for a few months, quick one, we did fill it with oil as well before, just so that we weren't running everything dry. It's been sat for a few months in the guy's unit. Obviously, I've never actually seen it run or heard it run or anything. There's no signs of the head gasket gone or anything like that. Cam belt is old, but we're going to be changing the cam belt, water pump, all of that lot. What I'm going to do is basically we're going to strip this down to long engine, so sump, block, head, and we're going to take all the ancillaries and everything from the engine that was in the car that worked and put them all on this engine, including the crank sensor, knock sensors, everything like that, because we know that they work on that engine. Put them onto this engine, and in theory, we should have a good engine. So, and there we have the new engine with a few parts taken over from the old engine. I didn't go too mad. We've changed a few choice parts. So it looks a hell of a lot better. Now it's all nice, cleaned up, sorted. So we took the coil, the leads off. We've left these sensors and things and the loom and everything, because everything seems okay. We've left all the injectors and everything because they're all genuine, they're all original. These have got Volkswagen on them. The stuff on the other engine, it's all pattern stuff, so figured we'll leave them on. The one thing that we have changed though is the crank sensor down here, because you can get access to it from this side, but it'd be a pain. So we've changed the crank sensor because you know the one works on the other engine. Throttle body has come on this engine as well because the other one didn't have one. And we've just gone around, done a bit of a nut and bolt check because these were loose. And we've just, we've done things up like this, changed a few little clips and brackets and things off, but mainly it is original. And the sump, we've changed the sump as well because the sump bolt was threaded, the hole was threaded, so we've put the other sump back on. And I've finally had delivery now of all the cam belt kit and everything, this is the little belt that is on here. So I'm not a professional in doing all this, but we've used 8mm dowel there and an 8mm drill bit to lock the top off. The bottom we have marked. Now you can see on this here, these are all square. This one's got an angle on, which notes which one has got to be, and there's a mark in the block there. So that's the bottom is now timed up. Cylinder 1 is at top dead center. These are in the correct position. So we're going to be changing the pulleys. There isn't a water pump. Really, really annoyed that the kit I ordered didn't come with a water pump. It feels okay. So we're going to have to leave the water pump for now. I've been waiting for days and days for this stuff to turn up, so we're not going to be able to change them. Really, really annoying that it didn't come with the water pump, but I can't wait any longer. This car has got to be back on the road and sorted within the next... I need it on the road. I need it back running today or tomorrow, so we can't wait any longer. It isn't going to be the end of the world if we have to go back in and change it. One of them. We'd rather not do it, but we've got to do what we've got to do. So as soon as that is all on, we've got the covers and everything back on, we can then get new flywheel, lightweight flywheel. Thanks to Harry on Instagram for selling me his lightweight flywheel. We've got a new release bearing for the clutch. Clutch is okay, pressure plate and everything look okay, so we can get them back on. Then we can get the gearbox all back together, and hopefully by the end of the day, if not tomorrow morning, we'll have the engine back in the car. And by the end of the week, by the end of tomorrow, it will be running. So, GoPro out, let's get on with this. So there we go, both belts are on. Obviously, little belt went on first, which you have to do a bit of jiggery pokery with. You have to get a ratchet in here just to take the pressure off of this pin. take that pin out to be able to get the belt on and then put the pin back in so you know everything's in the correct place. Tensioner for that belt is this one, and mark is the centre of this here. This belt is on, we've got this new pulley here, water pump's obviously the old one, tensioner, the new idler pulley, and once you've got everything on and done and tight, the mark for this, you've got to be careful, this goes around this nut, and then the timing mark for this is this point here to the centre of this point here, and we're bang on with everything. As soon as you've got the cam belt on, rotate it the whole engine by a couple of times with a ratchet, and then just check your marks again. So that's in, and that mark is bang on where we wanted it to, which tells us that the engine is timed up correctly, and hopefully we'll be okay. It's always a bit nervous doing cam belts. A lot can go wrong very quickly if you don't do it right. I think this is right. We're going to say it's right. So what we can do now is put all the covers back on this side, and then we'll have a look at getting it off of the engine stand and chucking the flywheel on. There we go, engine is reassembled. The belt is the wrong length for this one. I think it's just the wrong length belt. Gearbox is all mounted on, so flywheel's on, clutch is all on, gearbox is all mounted up. So, let's get it in the hole. Right, there we go, engine is in. A few little bits are just thrown in there for now. I'm not going to put the radiator on yet because I just want to see if it starts, because if it doesn't then we can find things easier. So we'll see. Battery's connected. Moment of truth. Have we done everything properly? I don't know. Let's try. No. Start, mate. What's going on? Why is it not starting? Right, try again. We haven't got the exciter wire plugged in properly on the starter. Get some fuel in because we had the fuel lines off. No, we should have gone by now. What have we not done correctly? Right, after many more faffings, it starts. So in the end, I've had to change this. I think this is for the variable valve timing cam sensor. This cam sensor here, which I think is what gives the signal for the coils. And I've also changed the injectors because we were unsure whether they were right or not. We had all the plugs out, or all the HT leads off with plugs in on the head. We had a spark at every cylinder. I took all the side of the engine apart again just to make sure that my timing marks were still exactly where they needed to be and that they worked. And I'm happy to say, we'll keep walking around in circles around the ramp, but she runs. Sounds really quite nice as well. So, it runs, which is nice, but we don't want to get it too hot. So what we need to do now is throw all of the front end back on. Get the rad and everything in, get some coolant in it. Then we've got some coolant in it, we can then get it through heat cycles. Put the engine flush that I've got in it, let the engine get hot, drain the oil, change the oil. We should be good to go once we've got the auxiliary belt fitted. It's still on its way. So, let's get the front end on. And it's another bit done. Right, even more time has passed by. I've taken the front end off again because we had a leak from the radiator, which I'm not sure whether it's the radiator or the fan switch. So I've ordered a rad and a fan switch that hopefully is going to come. And I've just been driving across Leicestershire and Rugby, getting a belt. Now, this car, AC, it's got AC on it, it's got the button on the dash. Someone's taken the compressor off of it and the pipe work. I can see the pipes coming out the bulkhead, but the compressor and everything and the condenser and all that from outside under the engine has all been removed, meaning that the belt isn't obviously the belt for if the car had air conditioning isn't the right length, and then a belt for a car without air conditioning isn't the right length. I ordered what it said on the internet for a car without aircon, which was a 6PK 1070, which didn't fit. I've just been up to Parker's and bought a 6PK 1100, which fits. You have to force it on, but it does fit, and the tension's nice and everything. It is all okay. But grand scheme, the engine is in. It does run and start, although we've got a warning on the dash, a beeping. I don't know what it's for. I need to have a look, but it runs. It sounds okay. We've still got a few other bits and pieces to do to it. I don't want to run it for too long because we've got no power steering fluid in it. We need to put power steering fluid in it. We need to bleed all the cooling system, get it up to temperature. I've got engine flush to go in it as well, so we can flush all of, just flush this engine out really because I don't know what it is. We've got the brakes all to bleed and everything. We've got a new radiator to put in, but we're running out of time to get this episode finished, edited, and out for you guys to watch on Sunday. So that'll all be in the next episode. And in the next episode, you can see up there, we've got brake kit to go on, stud and nut conversion. You'll finally get to see it on the wheels as well, because I've had loads of comments from people saying about the wheels. And I've got a carbon airbox, which is a universal thing. We'll be making it all fit and all work. So that's coming up in the next episode. But that is that one then, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It's been an absolute chaos of a week. But it's in, it runs, it seems okay. So we'll leave that on there then, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. Until next time, enjoy.